So previously we have seen about turning a colors of the letters. Now let us see, in addition to that, what are the ways to change the color of the letters, and how to change the background color, and how to change the border color. Okay, let's do it. So we have already seen how to change the color. For example, I'm typing A and I'm typing apple. What I can do is I can type style and I can use double quotation or single quotation. It's my favorite or my wish. Okay, I can use either quotations, but the style should not be start with a starting capital one. Everything should be in small letters. The commands, everything should be in small letters. Remember it. It should not be in smaller or first letter in a capital one. Everything should be in a smaller letter. So the style, I'm giving color and colon red. So this is what we see. The apple will be turned into red. So I'm gonna like give a semicolon here, and I'm gonna use background color right now. Background hyphen color. I'm gonna give the colon and I'm gonna type yellow. So background color will be yellow, and you can see the background will be in yellow. Let's see it. So I want to like teach you step by step. I don't want to rush. So first see the background color right now. So you can see apple is in red and background color yellow is in yellow. Okay, let's see like what are the different types of background color we can do. I'm going to delete it so that it will be in a black. Okay, I'm going to use a different thing right now. I'm going to use BR, copying it. Okay, so I think that's fine. So I'm going to turn this into red, turn this into blue, turn this into pink, turn this into gray, turn this into brown, turn this into silver, turn this into violet, turn this into tomato, and turn this into what else we have seen earlier, like navy blue, or just navy, I don't know. Turn this into what I can say, brown. I've already written brown, like aqua. Turn this into what else? What are the colors we have seen earlier? Red, aqua, alice blue, teal. Okay, let's use teal. Okay, so let's save it. So now everything will be having the different background color. So I'm going to save it and let's go. Oh, wow, so you can see that apple is in yellow, red, blue, pink, gray, and different colors. Okay, so the first thing what I've done is we have used A and we have used style, and inside the style we have given equal to and double quotes. With inside the double quotes we have entered background color and colon and the name of the color. So it will change the color accordingly. So now let's go back. Okay, we can see that actually yellow here, background yellow is in yellow, red, background yellow red is in red, blue is in blue, pink is in big, gray is in gray, brown is here, and silver is here, and this is violet, this is tomato, this is navy, this is aqua, this is teal. This is how you can change the background color. That's actually great, isn't it? Okay, now let's see like how to change the background. We have seen the background. Now let's see how to change the border. How to change the border color or colors in HTML. So we are using actually inline style directly into HTML. We can also link to the separate page which has a CSS. Okay, now let's see how to change the border color in HTML. So it's similar. So I'm going to type A and I'm going to type apple or absolute beginners coding name. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use style, double quotes, and I'm going to enter the border. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a semicolon here. I'm going to mention how thick the border should be, like 2 pixels or whatsoever. I'm going to give a space and I'm going to tell whether it should be a solid one or normal one. So it should be a solid. I'm going to give solid, and what color it should be. Let me tell it red. Then the absolute beginners coding will be in red border, with a red border. I'm going to give BR so that you will know. So let me do it for few more colors. Right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change the name of the colors. So now the border will be like blue, border will be like in brown, be in tomato or gray, aqua, silver, and violet or pink or green. So this is how to change the border. Let's save it and let's open the file. Okay, you can see that the border is actually in a different color. I think we have to give in a few more line space. Okay, because the borders are like colliding with each other. Okay, let me like save it right now. I think it should be fine right now. Wow, still it's like same. I think few more BR is required. I mean, like let me like give some 2 BR, 2 line space is required, I guess so, because the borders are like colliding with each others. Okay, I guess now it will be fine. Great. Okay, so this is how to change the borders. So you can see the absolute beginners coding is covered with the solid 2 pixels thick red border. So we have given solid and we have given thickness to 2 pixels, so it is like 2 pixel big, and it has given the name absolute beginners coding, which is in 2 pixels big red solid border, and the same is in blue, brown, tomato, gray, aqua, silver, pink, I mean this is violet, this is pink, and green. So this is how you can actually change the colors of the border in HTML. So let's move on. So let's see combined together how to change the color, background and border for a single text. Okay, what we can do is we can either use A, or you can use H1 to H6, you can use P, that's your wish. I'm going to use A, I'm going to use absolute beginners coding, and I'm going to write style. Remember, it should always be in small letters, no starting letter capital, no complete capital. It should be in small letters. Everything should be in small letters. Whatever you type inside this the brackets, it should be inside. Whatever you're typing inside the brackets, it should be in small letters. And you can either use single or double quotation, doesn't matter, but I kind of used to double quotation, I'm using the same. So color colon red semicolon, which separates it from the other command, and background color colon blue or yellow or tomato semicolon border colon 2 pixels solid aqua, and BR would be fine, or like 2BR would be fine. Great. So let's copy it and do a random thing. Great. So now we're going to change the color, background color and border. So we have already done for the first one. Let's do it for the second. Allow. What else I can use, like brown and silver. Great. Let's move to the next one. Pink. Let's turn the background color into green, and let's turn the border into like tomato. Let's change the color into like gray, and pink, and the border into yellow. Now let's change this and let's do it for everything. Okay, we have changed pretty much a combination of different colors for the actual color of the letters and background color and the border. Let's see how it goes. Okay, let's go to the end of the page. Wow, these are like really cool. Right. So we have changed the color, we have changed the background color, we have changed the border. For the first one, we have changed the color red and background to tomato and the border to aqua. And we have done the same for the others as well, like yellow to the color, background is brown, border is gray, and pink to the color, background is green, border is tomato, and gray to the color, pink to the border, yellow to the pink to the background, yellow to the border. Here green to the color, yellow to the background, brown to the border. So black to the color, aqua to the background, and I didn't give actually any border color right there, so there is no border here. And here you can see like gray as a color, tomato as a background, yellow as a border, and blue as the color, green as the background, and red as a border. So this is how you can change the color of the letters, background of the letters, and the border of the letters. Okay, let's move on right now to the next topic. So whenever you want to try it out while watching the video, you can pause it and you can try it out. Okay. So you can actually use the colors not by, in addition to giving the name of the colors, you can actually use the values of the colors. Instead of typing red, you can actually use the value. So let me tell it, which is RGB. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a color to this name of my company or website, whatever it is, Absolute Beginners Coding, and I'm gonna type the style to change the color, style, inside double quotes, the color, and what I can do is I can type RGB, and which means red, green, blue, right? And I can type the values. So the value can be like a mix of percentage or completely numbers. It can vary from 0 to 100 or 0 to 1000. In case of values, it can vary from 0 to 1000. In case of percentage, it should be like 0 to 100. So I'm going to give the value right now, like 5, 99 and 560, 596. This is the value, right? So what colors will come in this value will be the color of this words. So this is how you can use the RGB to give color to your words in HTML. You can use both the percentage as well as values, but right now I'm telling you the values. But later I will tell you about the percentage. So now let's see the values. Okay, so now I'm going to change these values like 98 or 978 or 999 and 596, that let it be same, or 5 or 109 or just single number or like 2 number, anything is fine. 1 to 1000 is fine. Okay, let's save it. So now we are using only the values of the RGB, not the percentage. So I think it should work. Okay, you can see the absolute beginners coding for the first value. What we have given is blue. The second, I mean the double space has been given. So the second is green, third is aqua, which is light blue, and the fourth is pink. Okay, so this is how you can actually use the value. You can also use a percentage in case of value. So RGB percentage. Okay. Okay, so this is how you can use the percentage. So percentage should be like 0 to 100. Okay. Okay, so I've given something. Even 100 you can give, non-issue. You can also give 0, no problem. But 0 means it doesn't take anything. Okay, so let's save it. Go back to the HTML page. Now we can see that the RGB percentage for the first, what we have given is, it's actually a sky blue. The second is actually a pink. Third is a tomato, and the fourth is kind of a light violet. Fifth is kind of a dark blue. So this is how you can use the percentage. Okay, so we can also use many other steps or many other things in terms of using RGB. In RGB you can use either the values 0 to 1000 or percentage 0 to 100. Instead of RGB you can also use many other thing. I'm going to tell it right now. we can use HEX. Instead of RGB, we can use HSL. You can use RGBA, or we can use HSLA values as well. So let us try them all. HEX values for colors in HTML. Now let's see this. Okay, and okay, everything is same, every steps are same, but instead of RGB we're gonna use HEX. You can use it for the border, you can use it for the background, you can use it for color, background and border. That is, it is not restricted to color alone. Okay, like I'll use like HEX. It should be the value like 155 or like 69. Anything is fine. 0 to 1000 is fine, and it will give you the same like what we have given in Apple. I mean what we have given in RGB. Okay, so I've given like plenty of things right there. Give a HR right there. And a line break. Okay, so we are using HEX right now, right? So I'm going to use like 52 or anything between like 0 to 1000 is fine. But let me check it, like HEX will allow like 0 to 100 or 0 to 1000. Let me check it out. Okay, it's not actually allowing the values. I think we should use only the percentage. Okay, it's not actually allowing the values. It didn't change anything. So HEX refer to the I mean like the unique value. So we cannot like give the mix of like RGB. HEX, it's not like this. It should be like we should not mention like RGB. So in HEX what we can do is we can mention the color and we can mention the value like FF63 87. So now this is the HEX value. So now it will be working. So it's not like the RGB. Now you can see the HX value what we have given is for pink. So this is how HX works. So you can use like hash symbol and followed by 2 letters, which is should be an alphabet, and 2 sets of numerals. Let's do it. Okay, now we can change it to 15 and 02. Now we can change it to 63 or 89. Instead of FF we can also use like GT. I don't know like what a GT is, but I'm still trying. Or like ER. I don't know whether this is gonna work or not, but the value will work, but I don't know about the alphabets. So this is a set, like first 2 should be an alphabet, second 2 sets should be a letters, numerals. You can try it on your own. Let's save it and let's see what we have done. Wow, it's actually working. So first is like a dark pink, and other one is tomato and light pink. I think these are blacks. I think they didn't work, and these are like shades of purple. So you should not give a random alphabet. You should actually use the proper ones. That's the reason these 2 didn't work. Maybe EE will work, I guess so. Let's see. Yes, actually EE is for red. So for each and every color there's a alphabet, 2 sets of alphabet. You should remember that. And the second 2 sets is our numerals. You can give some random. This is how to use the HEX instead of RGB, and this is how to use that. And let's see another one. Okay, so now we have seen how to use RGB. You can use values in RGB, you can use percentages, that doesn't matter. And we have seen how to use HEX. The first 2 sets should be alphabet, the right alphabet, not any random one. And second 2 sets of numerals can be any number with 0 to 100. Yeah, and we have seen HEX. Now let's move to HSL, which means H refers to hue and S refers to saturation and L refers to light. So now let's see like HSL, which is hue, saturation and lightness. Okay, so this is how we can use it here. Now let's use the HSL. So everything is same, A/A, or like you can use H1 or H2 or anything, that doesn't matter. You can also use it in a body, you can also use it in a head, it doesn't matter, it will work. But I'm using it in A. Apple. Okay, I'm going to use a style. What I'm going to do is type color colon HSL. Okay, now hue should be like within 0 to 10, and I mean H's should be like 0 to 10, but S and L can be like from 0 to 100. So let's try it out. We give some line breaks. This is how you can change the colors in HTML by using HSL. Great, let's save it. Let's open this. Nothing happened. Something went wrong, but I've given the right one. Oh my god. Okay, I didn't actually give the percentages, because in HSL you should actually mention percentages. The first is value, hue is value, and S and L should be percentage, because how much you want the saturation and how much you want the lightness should be mentioned. But H is a value, so you know to type percentage here. That's the mistake I've done there. It's the same thing, so I can delete it and copy it. Okay, you can change it randomly. You can change it. You can change it. It should be like 0 to 10 guys, and it should be a value, and these two should be percentage 0 to 100. I think you should not give 0. If you give 0, it will be like white. Let's give some numbers. You can also give 10. This can be anything. Okay, now everything is fine. Now let's see. Great. So we can see the color has been changed right here and everywhere. So we have changed the hue, we have changed the percentage for saturation and lightness. So it has given the result right here. So in HSL, H should be like 0 to 10. It is a value, no percentage. In S and L, you can actually add percentage between 0 to 100. It will work. So we have seen how to change the colors by giving name, how to change the colors by giving RGB values, RGB percentages, and HEX value and HSL value. Now let's move to the next one. Now let's see how to change the color by using RGBA. So what does RGBA means? So R is red, G is green, B is blue, and A is I think alpha. Yeah, alpha. Okay, it's the same, guys, but alpha should be like between I don't know, like 0 to 10 or 0 to 100, I don't know, but let's try it out. Let's see RGBA. Okay, everything is same. You can also use H1, doesn't matter. You can use A, doesn't matter. You can use P, doesn't matter. You can use it for the body, you can use it for the head, doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna use the style. gonna use color, and I'm gonna use RGBA, and I'm gonna use the values for RGBA like 25, 89, 99. This is for RGBA, is for like RGB is for 0 to 100 value or percentage, but A should be like 0 to 10, like 0.5 is much, and we can do it for the others as well. Great. You can also use percentage. If you use percentage, it should be like 0 to 100. If you use values, it should be 0 to 1000. But A value should be like 0 to 1. I don't know. I guess it should be 0 to 1. Like 0.9. If I'm giving values alone, I can use like within 100 anything, that doesn't matter. So now let's see. Let's save it. And let's see. How to use RGBA colors in HTML. Okay, this is how to use the RGBA colors in HTML, and first one is absolute beginners coding, and the second one didn't work. Let's go back. And third one didn't work as well. I think in RGBA the limit is between 0 to 100, but in RGB, if you are using values, then you can go between like 0 to 100 or 0 to 1000, but in RGBA I think it is limited to 0 to 100. Let's save it. Okay, the percentage we can see it's in a navy blue, which is 0 to 100. What happened to the third one? Okay, since it's in a paragraph, I guess so it's not working. We should work on a paragraph as well. I don't know what went wrong. Probably because it is over 100, right? In RGBA the value should be like between 0 to 100, but let me confirm it. But in RGB we can use the values between 0 to 1000. In RGB, if you are using percentages, then it should be like between 0 to 100. But in RGBA, that I don't know, we can use it. Yes, we can use it. It should be like between 0 to 100, guys. It should not be between like 0 to 1000 in RGBA. In RGB, we can actually use values between 0 to 1000 for R, B, and RG and B. In RGB, we are using values, then R value and G value and B value can be between 0 to 1000. In same RGB, if you are using percentages, then it should be like between 0 to 100. But in RGBA, if you are using values or percentages, it should be between 0 to 100. But A should be 0 to 1. It should not exceed it. Because if I give like more than 100, it's not working. Look, if I'm saving it, it's not working. Look, the first thing, without entering the values more than 100, now we are able to see this. If I'm writing like values more than 100, then this disappears because it's not working. I think it's due to the alpha, I guess so. Can I change the alpha and see? If there is no alpha, then it will work because it is workable in RGB. Now let's refresh it. It's not working. I don't know. I think it's because of P. It should work. The values can be like 0 to 1000 in RGB. It's still not working. If the value is like between 0 to 100, it's working. Oh. Now it's working. I'm kind of like confused right now because it is actually, it should work. So let me like create a new file. I mean like a new window. So let me like see the RGB. I just don't want to use it. Okay, now let's use it A. And Apple, the style, okay, now the color, colon, RGB. Let's see if I'm using more than 100, will it work or not? Let's see. 100, 500, 699. Okay, let's save it. RGB, like let us like name it as colors. HTML or HTML, both is fine. It's in E, ABC HTML tutorial, right? Okay. Okay, now it is working. You can see that I've given the value more than 100. Now it is working. Like you can see it is in sky blue. You can see the values are like more than 100. It should work. You can also like change this even more than 100. It will work. Look, it is working. And you can also use the percentage instead of values, but percentage should be like less than 100 since it's a percentage. So let's save it. You can see that it's working. Let me use BR. Okay, so this is how you can use RGB. Now let's see RGBA, which is same again, but you can add A. The alpha should be like between 0 to 1, but I'm guessing it. I don't know, but it should be like 0 to 1. You can try it. So now let's try 3 different things in RGBA. One is percentage, another one is value between 0 to 100, another one is value between 0 to 1000. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna see if it is gonna work if the value is more than 100 in RGBA. If it is verum, I mean like RGB alone, it might work if the value is like more than 100. But if it is like more than 100 in RGBA. We don't know like it's gonna work or not. Let us find it out. It's actually working. But how come the RGBA is turning the color? I don't know. So this is the RGB. Okay. So you can see RGB is in black color and Apple is in blue. Oh my god. So I've done a big mistake right here. I've given the A like out of the bracket. Okay, now let's try it out. That's a huge mistake right there. Wow. Okay, now everything is good. What we have tested is right. Okay, you can see that in RGB you can actually enter the values between 100, I mean like 0 to 1000 for R, G and B. So you will get the color, you will get the result right there. And you can also like enter the values between 0 to 100 or 0 to 1000, both is fine. But if you're like mentioning percentage, it should be like 0 to 100, only then you can get the result. So in RGBA, we can add the percentages between 0 to 100 and the alpha should be like between 0 to 1. You can actually get the result. And if you're like using the value 0 to 100 and value of A is 0 to 1, you can get the result. But if you're entering the value 0 to 1000, which is more than 100, you will not get the result. Actually, we are getting the result. Look, there's an apple right here as well. So you can actually use value in RGBA as well, more than 100. But the thing is that it's like really small. I mean, you couldn't see, but there is apple right here. But it's like very light. That's the reason I couldn't able to show you guys. But it's like very light blue. I don't like whether you can see it or not, but you can get the result actually. But it is like very lighter. So this is the value that we have given more than 100. Because this is RGBA and here we have mentioned RGBA, and so we got the result apple, which is in a light gray color with the percentage given between 0 to 100. We can get the color, we can get the result. If you are adding RGBA with the values 0 to 100, we can actually get the result as well, which is a gray. If you are giving the value more than 100, still you can get the result, but it's like really light blue, so you couldn't see it if you are adding the value more than 100 in RGBA. But if I highlight it, you can actually see it. I don't like, some of you can see it, I don't know, like it's really blue, like really light blue. Now what I'm going to try is, if I add the alpha more than 1, it is going to work or not. Now let's try it. Let's copy these both. So now I'm going to change the alpha alone, more than 1, like 1.2 or 9.1, or even more than 1. I think more than 10 it will not work, but I'm going to try it out. I'm going to like try by 22. It's just an experiment, guys. I don't know what would be the result. Okay, for my surprise, it's actually working. So the A is more than 1, it's actually working. The A is more than 1, it's actually working. The A is more than 10, it's actually working. So you can actually give the alpha more than 1. I think it should be like 0 to 100. Like, let us see like if the alpha is more than 100, it's going to work or not. Okay, so I'm going to change the alpha to like 112. I hope it will not work, but let us see. It didn't work. Okay, so these three are like these three, but you didn't get anything. Even I couldn't be able to highlight, so nothing is there. But if I change the alpha and let me like refresh this page, you're getting a result. So the alpha should be like between like 0 to 100. Okay, so this is how you can change the color by using RGBA. So we have seen how to change the color by giving the name or giving HEX value or RGB or RGBA. So we have also seen the difference of what are the values or what are the percentages that we can give. And we also experimented with RGBA as well. So RGB could be the values between 0 to 1000. If RGB is in a percentage, then it should be like 0 to 100. But A should be like a value which is 0 to 100. If we use the A as a percentage, will it gonna work? Let me see it. If I'm doing like for 12%, it's gonna work or not? Let me like see it right now. It's gonna work. You can actually use the percentage as well for the RGBA. Let's change everything into percentage. Let's save it. Now let's see what happens. Okay, it's even lighter right now. So it could be like either percentage or either value, that doesn't matter, and it could be a mix of percentage. But remember one thing, if you're using percentage for R, then you should use percentage for G and B as well, because RGB is a combination, right? So you should not use percentage for R and value for B or percentage for G like that. You can use percentage or value equally for the RGB, but for the A, which means alpha, you can use either value or percentage or mixture, it doesn't care. But if you're using percentage for R, you should also use percentage for G and B as well. You should not use percentage for R and ignore the G, because it will not work, because RGB is a mixture. So if you're using percentage, use it for all the three RGB, and if you're using value, you can use it from 0 to 1000 for all the three RGB. But A is different. You can either use percentage or you can leave it and it can be like a value. It doesn't matter. Okay, so this is what I just want to tell you guys. So let's move on.